If Taylor Swift can influence a presidential election, then we really are in the end times of America. Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes, Illuminati on Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. There's a conspiracy theory being floated around by those on the far right that the Blue Party is planning to recruit Taylor Swift to try to persuade people who are part of Generation Z to go out in large numbers to vote for Joe Biden in the 2024 election. And according to these people who are participating in promoting this conspiracy theory, they are saying that they are looking to recruit Taylor Swift to try to persuade people to vote for Joe Biden because Joe Biden is basically struggling right now as related to his already 33% approval rating, and they're hoping that by having Taylor Swift go out and try to stand with Joe Biden and make appearances with him, this will get a lot of these people who are a part of Generation Z to rush out and take their booties to the poll and vote for Joe Biden to try to preserve democracy. Now, what these people on the far right are speculating is that this campaign is one that's being waged because what they want to do is try to use Taylor Swift's influence to try to influence young voters to go vote for Joe Biden and have those young people look to vote for Joe Biden because a celebrity told them to. Now, this whole campaign is very similar to what happened in 1992 to a lot of black voters who went out and were persuaded to vote for Bill Clinton after he played the saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show. And after he made that appearance on the Arsenio Hall show, Bill Clinton got a lot of black voters to vote for him just based on that empty symbolic appearance, but never giving black people any promise of tangibles. Now, this whole campaign, possibly to use Taylor Swift in the same way, would be the same type of empty symbolic manipulation in that they take a wealthy celebrity, have them go and stand at the side of a political candidate and talk about how they're supposed to preserve democracy and not give any of those voters anything tangible in exchange for their vote. And this would be the second time that members of Gen Z would get swerved because back in 2022, Joe Biden basically tried to buy their votes by proposing to forgive their student loans. And after many of those people who were part of Gen Y and Gen Z put in applications to get $10,000 of debt in their student loans forgiven, they wound up with absolutely nothing after voting blue no matter who to preserve democracy when the Supreme Court came out and told them that this whole proposal to forgive these student loans was unconstitutional and you needed to get approval from Congress to try to forgive these student loans. And after Joe Biden basically got their votes and managed to maintain the Senate but lost the House, many of these people of Generation Z basically felt burnt by that entire policy because they were promised something tangible in the form of forgiveness of student loan debt, and they wound up going home with absolutely nothing at all except a vote for a candidate that did absolutely nothing for them. And people would have to be a special brand of dysfunctional to go out here and look to vote for Joe Biden again, considering his already 33 to 38% approval rating, which basically puts him underwater and in the same place that Jimmy Carter was in back in 1980. Now, back in 1980, Jimmy Carter basically wound up in the same place that Joe Biden did after making lots of promises to try to fix the country and do things like Joe Biden proposed, which is Build Back Better. However, nothing came back better, and the country basically feels like it's in a recession with all of these layoffs going on. And with all of these layoffs going on, hitting many of the members of Generation Z really hard, I have to wonder if they would be influenced by Taylor Swift to go vote for Joe Biden. Because the average member of Generation Z right now is struggling right now as related to bills and student loans, and they are seeing a job market that's basically falling apart, similar to the one that I grew up in back in the 90s when George H.W. Bush basically took the country into a recession. The same type of economic instability is happening, and that's what I see happening right now. So I don't really think anybody should be listening to a celebrity who is making hundreds of millions of dollars, because if you listen to this celebrity, then it basically says that that generation of people is dumber than a box of rocks. Because you have to be dumber than a box of rocks in order to let a celebrity influence your vote, because your vote is something important, and your vote shouldn't be influenced by celebrities who've already gotten their money and have them try to tell you who to vote for, because who you vote for is about you getting tangibles from your government, from the tax dollars that you pay into that government, and you deserve to get candidates that you pick that will support your agenda, not candidates who go out here and are just handpicked by the wealthy, who are the ones who pay the celebrities of people like Taylor Swift, who would be their puppets to tell you what they want to hear and manipulate you into persuading to vote for their hand-picked candidates. That's what's happening right now, and that's what would, as related to this conspiracy theory, which just shows me the subtle politics going on behind the scenes, because this is all about manipulating people into voting back the same people who are giving them the dysfunction in their life as related to the economy. Now, the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result, and many of those Gen Z folks who basically got swerved as related to Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness would be completely insane to vote for Joe Biden, and again, after he already swerved you on those student loans, which he clearly, as again, a man who had 50 years in politics, knew that he could not unilaterally go out and forgive student loans without the approval of Congress. I mean, this man has all of these decades of experience and should have known the U.S. Constitution and how it worked, but a lot of people, because they wanted to create a covert contract and got caught up in their greed, created that covert contract where they thought, oh, I'll vote blue to preserve democracy, and that democracy will go out here and forgive my student loans. But in actuality, those student loans never got forgiven, and people are on the hook for debt. Meanwhile, those same members of the Blue Party are getting rich at your expense, taking your tax dollars back without giving you anything tangible in return. And that's what's happening right now. They already know they can't really swerve people by trying to play to their emotions on abortion or play to their emotions with student loans. So this conspiracy theory shows the desperation of the Blue Party as related to trying to get the vote out by trying to bring out celebrities. Again, many of these celebrities basically have all their money, and they're not really concerned about trying to empower the American people. No, they'll just do and say whatever their corporate bosses want, and they'll do and say whatever their corporate bosses want in order to get to persuade people to vote against their own interests. Now, I am no Donald Trump supporter at all, and I don't really believe that Donald Trump is the best candidate for president, but as an American citizen, I just do not like it when I hear plans to so-called manipulate the American people and have them go out here and vote against their own interests, because you would have to be dumber than a box of rocks to let Taylor Swift, a woman who has hundreds of millions of dollars, tell you how to vote. You'd have to be not very smart to allow a celebrity to influence you in who you vote for, because who you vote for should be a decision made by you and the members of your community based on candidates you go out here and select, not our hand brought to you like the black community was brought Barack Obama. No, we need to check the paperwork on these individuals and make sure that they are going to be in working on our interests, because the Constitution says we the people, and we need to make sure that the people we elect are us. No, we need to make sure they are working in our interest to bring those tax dollars back to our communities and bring tangible services to people, not go out here and vote for a candidate to preserve an ideal like democracy, when in reality most of our money is being sent to places like the Ukraine, or to places like Gaza. I mean, that's the problem. Again, Americans are being put last, and we're in the middle of an economic situation where Americans are dealing with layoffs, and many Americans are homeless. And instead of us taking care of we the people, we're trying to take care of Ukrainians, migrants, and people all across the world like those in other countries, but we're not looking to take care of American people. And smart people understand that you have to put yourself first if you want to take care of others. And again, if you're not taking care of a nation, and if the politicians are not focused on taking care of a nation, then that really says something about the citizens, and it says that the citizens really are not that informed. And that's even if being college educated, because I myself was a college educated guy back in the 90s, and I started to realize that I just couldn't keep voting for these candidates without them bringing something tangible to the whole process. And I learned that you just can't allow yourself to be manipulated by empty symbolic gestures like Bill Clinton appearing on Arsenio Hall, or big promises of student loan forgiveness without it actually being implemented. You need to have actual tangible policies that will be put in place by that candidate that are viable if you want to consider them for a vote. And again, if you pick the candidate and they understand the law, they can get those policies to you. So I'm telling people again not to really, when it comes to these conspiracy theories, you have to really just ignore them. But the whole thing is, you can't let anybody manipulate your vote, because your vote is your vote. It is your choice, and you need to take it seriously and not let some celebrity who sits in an ivory tower tell you who to vote for, because that person has already got their money, whether it be Taylor Swift, whether it be Sean P. Diddy Combs with Vote or Die. It's up to you to decide who you choose, and you need to go out here and do your own research on these candidates before you select them to run for office for you. You need to do your own homework and your own research to make sure that you get the candidates that best represent you and best represent your needs as an American citizen. Now, if you want to pick up some of my positive fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find the books of the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my Black Vampire novel Eternal Night, and my Black Sorority novel The Thetas on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find many of my books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you'd like to see me make more videos on this channel, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and Kindle. Vampires stalk the darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. Now available on Lulu. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at lulu.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.